Welcome back to Great Day Louisiana's one-tank trip to Vernon Parish. Our next stop is a place you wouldn't normally think to visit, but it is definitely a sight to experience. This is the Talbert Pearson Cemetery, located in Pitkin, Louisiana. Established by the two families bearing the names, they first settled here in the 1860s. Here, you can see 13 unique grave houses. The origins of them are uncertain, but many believe that it began as a means of protecting the graves before cemeteries were commonly fenced. Special trees were cut from the nearby woods and then carved into uniquely designed pickets. Then they were constructed into sheds, complete with metal roofs. The custom also included decorating the graves with shells. Although modern burial practices have made this unnecessary, some families continue the tradition today. The Talbert Pearson Cemetery is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and located next to Pine Grove Methodist Church. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Louisiana's link to World War II is close, and right now we are checking out a heritage area that was essential to battle. This is the Fort Polk Heritage Center. The fort trained thousands of soldiers for war, and today this center is helping visitors understand the role this fort played in preparing for a battle. We have made it over here, everybody, and joining me now for a conversation about this center is the wonderful Richard Grant. He's the museum director. Hello, my good sir.
How you doing?
Thanks so much for being here. I am so excited to learn more about this Fort Polk area. Let's start with that. What is the story of Fort Polk?
Fort Polk was established in January of 1941. Basically what had happened before that, Germany had invaded Poland in 1939. We realized that the Army was still using World War I tactics. So by the summer of 1940, they were trying a new tactic, which was called a triangular formation or combined armed forces. So they used this area which was sparsely populated.
Wow, is that why they chose this area
specifically? Yes, it was sparsely populated. The government owned the Kisatchie National Forest. The other land mainly around here was owned by Old Timber Company. They could use it to train on.
Wow, it's so interesting. And you know, when you come out here, everybody, you can learn a lot more about what Fort Polk was all about. How is this Heritage Center set up?
It is set up mainly showing the, start out with the Louisiana maneuvers, the heritage families which were displaced at the time when the Army purchased the land in 1941. And then it goes around showing the weapons of World War II. Then it goes through a brief period, showing the old German POW camp, and then from there to the next big thing, which was the Vietnam War.
It's so interesting because, like I mentioned, everybody, Fort Polk was a training ground for many different battles: World War II, the Vietnam War, the Korean War. What was the training like? How rigorous was it?
It was very rigorous, very, very rigorous. Louisiana heat, during midsummer, was really bad, especially when the soldiers, when the 5th Infantry was here, they were using what was called a mop suit, which is a rubberized suit that the soldiers wear, and they have the big rubber boots they put on with a helmet, with a head cover coming over during the summertime, and temperatures reach up to 100, up to 110, and they're wearing the suit, as they're protected to try against chemical, biological, and nuclear warfare.
It's unbelievable to hear, everybody. Fort Polk is actually over 200,000 acres, so many people came here to get trained, but you all actually have a display of some uniforms from a couple of local people. Tell me about that display case.
Yes, we had some uniforms and a helmet cover from two of our local vets, Michael Bellis, who lives around Lafayette, and Carl Cedars, which lives around Pineville. They both did their basic and AIT during the Vietnam War. And Michael, kept all of his uniforms he had during the Vietnam War. And Carl, he kept his helmet cover, which was part of the 9th Infantry, 3rd Brigade, which is called the Go Devils.
Wow, and it was donated to the Heritage Center,
yes,
so that's super cool. Richard, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And look, everybody, if you want more information about the Fort Polk Heritage Center, you can do so by going to the website on your screen. It's legendcountry.com. You can also call the number on your screen as well for more information. This information is also on the State Office of Tourism website, which is louisianatravel.com.